hundredths of a second gained at the starting line, impossible to overcome. That sets up the final. It'll be Bob Glidden against Darrell Alderman, and Glidden has the lane choice for the championship. And just as we suspected, lots of work in the John Force camp. Austin Coyle and the crew replacing the damaged engine, getting this car ready to face Richard Hartman in the funny car Final Four. Steve?
A 4-1 light and a 726, just too much for WJ.
I'll tell you, Steve, you said it a while ago. So far, it's been a good day for the Winston points chase for us. We've run two of the top three guys, or the three guys in front of us, and we knew we'd have to do everything perfect to beat Johnson.
Are you starting to maybe smell an 11th title?
No, I wouldn't want to. I don't even want to think about it. I'd like to win this race, though. Right.
Steve, he may not admit it, but he knows deep down he's got a shot at an incredible 11th championship. Certainly a bit more relaxed in Ed McCulloch's pit area. Remember over in John Force's where they were changing engines on the Winston points leader? Well, his closest competitor, McCulloch, is just doing a little refacing of a clutch disc. The car just about ready to go. He'll race Mark Oswald in the Final Four. Coming up in just a few moments right now, it is the Final Four in Top Fuel Eliminator. Ursi Hill backing her husband Eddie into his own tracks after the long smoky burnout. The crew chief Fuzzy Carter and the rest of the gang checking over the engine on that race car. The other lane finds the Castrol Special of Gary Ormsby under the direction of Lee Beard. The best way that you can keep up to date with all that's going on in the Winston Championship points chase is to become a member of the National Hot Rod Association. Only $42 a year gets you 48 issues of National Dragster. Plus, if you subscribe now to the number on your screen, you get a copy free of the Diamond P Video Drag Racing 89. Gary Ormsby has selected the lane furthest from the camera. He had a 5 flat in round number 2. Eddie Hill not far behind. His 5:02 certainly proves he's in contention. Even Gary's crewman showing the tension of this race. Tremendous start. And what a finish. Gary Ormsby, 5.01 seconds and another 291 mile an hour run. Eddie Hill at a 5:03 at 282. That win by Ormsby puts the pressure squarely onto Joe Amato. The lane choice here goes to Amato, but it was a very narrow margin of difference between his competitor, Gene Snow, and himself. 4.98 seconds in round number 2 for Amato, a 4.99 for Snow, but not to be forgotten is that 4.93 earlier by Gene Snow. Steve?
What a race, 5:01 to a 5:03.
Yeah, it was really close. You know, we still were a little bit conservative that run because we want to make the final, and now we're in the final, so we'll have to see what happens.
You weren't trying to run up 495, say?
No, we really weren't, Steve. We were just trying to maintain our pace that we've had all day.
And now you need Gene Snow to do you a big favor.
Oh, it'd help, yeah. It sure would.
Let's go back up and watch that one.
Steve, those 290 mile an hour runs by Ormsby certainly help out. He can back off a little bit on the starting line. He doesn't have to be quite so aggressive with his clutch setting. Now, both Amato in the far lane and Snow in the near lane staging the winner here to meet Ormsby, who's looking on intently from the far end of the track. Both drivers set. Another tremendous race. And it is Gene Snow from behind.
That's 200 points.
We need it. Look at the smile on Gary Ormsby's face. He knows the margin between he and Joe Amato is just narrowed as that man, Gene Snow, came from behind with a 4.98. Let's look at the finish line camera. It'll show you just how close it was. Snow by 16 thousandths of a second and a couple of feet. put away Amato to advance to the finals. He will have the lane choice against Gary Ormsby in the championship round of the Keystone Nationals.
Joe, I know you haven't been feeling tip-top today, and that certainly didn't improve things.
Well, it was a tough loss. You know, the car ran decent, but Timmy said it looks like it lost a couple porcelains because some flames came out of the pipes about half tracks or something. Must in the fuel system must have mixed up a little.
Porcelain out of the spark plugs you're talking about?
Yeah, too much heat was in there, and it burned them out a little early.
You know, Ormsby intentionally ran about a 501. I think you wanted to go quicker.
Well, we were trying to just maintain our 498, so we thought that might be enough to win, but it turned out it wasn't.
Steve, this time it was Gene Snow running the 498 for the win. To the Final Four in funny car at the Keystone Nationals, and as John Force gets ready for his race, he's got to be thinking about this car. He has had lots of problems all season long. Earlier, Steve took a look at some of the most recent ones.
By now, every racing fan knows of the fiery problems of John Force. This was Brainerd, Minnesota. He still went on to win. This was the Big Bud Shootout at Indianapolis for $50,000. On fire, Force won it. And those problems continue here in Pennsylvania. Not as dramatic, but they're still here. Now, no one hopes he finds the cure of these problems any quicker than the men and women of the safety safari, but still, they couldn't resist having a little fun with it. Force found this on his arrival at the track yesterday. They really don't want or need a test vehicle. He got another surprise, too, this time from a fan who gifted him with this hat. The international sign for no aces. You better hope Ed McCullough doesn't see this, because the ace doesn't need any more excuses to beat up on Forrest than he already has.
Force has even taken to referring to his cars as cats and having 9 lives. He's used up a couple of them already with the fires that he's had this season. His competition, the surprising Richard Hartman. As we ride with John Force, he had the lane choice. A tremendous race to the finish line, and it is Force into the finals yet again. His elapsed time, 5.31 seconds. Hartman was right there at a 5:32. As we look again in replay, you can see a very slight advantage off the starting line for Hartman, 4 thousandths of a second. As they got close to the finish line, though, Force had pulled up alongside until as they entered the speed trap at the end of the racetrack, that 66-foot-long trap, it was neck and neck. Then as they marched through that distance, it was John Force able to pull ahead and take a 5 thousandths of a second victory. Steve?
For the first time in 3 races, John Force, no fire, no oil. 5:31 to a 5:32.
I feel like I won Indy. I don't know why. All we can say is our old cats are holding out, and I just hope McCullough's out of aces, but she's dry, she's dry. We're very excited. And, you know, you got to say it to the crew. These guys can do the impossible, but Austin Coyle, the stuff I put on him to keep this thing alive, I wouldn't take from nobody, and this guy can concentrate with all that. He's doing a heck of a job.
Here's another guy doing a heck of a job. This is Bernie Fenderly, the crew chief for Ed McCullough. McCullough got put back in that right-hand lane. You heard him say earlier he did not like the lane nearest the camera, but that's where he is, as Mark Oswald had the quicker elapsed time and the lane choice. Leonard Hughes looking on from behind. Oswald and McCullough. And Mark Oswald puts away Ed McCullough, moves to the finals, gives John Force a decided advantage in the Winston Points chase. Look at the dive. They're back into the 520s with a vengeance. 5:24 at 279 miles an hour, and that sets up a classic final round between Mark Oswald and John Force. Oswald has the opportunity to put away the 2 leaders in the Winston Points chase, and he has the lane choice against Force in the final. In Gary Ormsby's pit area, crew chief Lee Beard personally adjusting the clutch, the crucial setting to the success of a nitro-burning race car today. Ormsby races Snow in the Top Fuel final. Now, let's go to the far end of the racetrack and Steve Evans.
Well, Dave, I think the ace is feeling a little more like a deuce right now. That's tough.
Well, you know, that's drag racing, Steve. You know, I mean, Oswald got hot today, and, you know, they're running extremely well. As all I can do is hope that he saws Force off next round and, you know, keep it that close. I mean, this deal's still not over.
Oh, not by a long ways. Thanks.
Yeah.
The Keystone Nationals finals.